about them. Don't talk about them. They're asleep.
So Scott, I think we may all be here.
I don't see Sandra.
Oh, okay,
Oh,
yeah,
here
Sandra.
she's coming in right now.
All right.
So we should have everybody now.
We can call the meeting to order and you maybe you can bring up the agenda, Scott?
I don't have it on me.
Oh, okay. I've got it written in front of me, so. Okay, so welcome to all. This is our monthly Finance and Insurance Committee meeting. I'm Mike Sisto, the chairman of the Finance and Insurance Committee, and we'll begin the meeting by doing a roll call, although I can see who's here. Everyone's here. And then we'll go over the agenda and then get into the meeting itself. So, Pam,
Here.
Pesky,
Here.
Scott,
Here.
Sandra, you're on mute, but you're here. You're on mute.
There we go. Here.
Here. And Katina?
Here.
Okay, and I think we have some owners joining us, so welcome to all. And the agenda is quite straightforward. So we had quite a few discussions with Tim Renfro and Meredith in the spring to renew our policy, and we thought it'd be a good idea to have another discussion with them in the fall so that we can use the most relevant and accurate information heading into our budget cycle. So the first part of the agenda is for Tim and Meredith to give us an overview on really the state of affairs of insurance, the industry, where it's going, what they're seeing. And like I said, that'll be input to our budget process. Then the second part of the meeting is I'll go through the August treasurer's report. And then I have any other business that may come up or address owners' questions or inquiries. So that's the agenda. Any comments or questions before I vote to approve it? Okay, so can I get somebody to motion the approval and then someone to second it?
I make the motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second it.
Go ahead, no problem.
I'll second it.
Go ahead, it's yours.
And let's vote.
Let's vote
Who
on
approves?
it.
I
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, great. So let's get on the first part. So I'll hand the floor to Tim and Meredith. And like I said, it's really to provide us some additional insight and input on the insurance industry and what they're seeing in the marketplace, more importantly, heading into the tail end of 25 and during 26. Tim?
Hey guys, Tim Renfro with Travers Hartnett Insurance. Also on this Zoom call is Meredith Palmer, who works on your account, and Olivia Rowe, who also works on your account.
Oh, hi, Olivia.
Okay, I'm kind of the state of affairs or the state of the insurance industry is we are in what we like to call a softer property market for insurance. Soft means insurance rates are going down. Hard means insurance rates are going up. Okay. So the rates are going down. On anything that says liability, though, guys, we're still in a bit of a hard market. I mean, people love to sue in the state of Florida. So whether it be your general liability or your directors and officers liability or your umbrella liability, those premiums are probably going to trickle up. I mean, they're not big, drastic numbers, but they are going to probably trickle up. The beauty of what we have here, and I just did the numbers, typically speaking on a condo, about 80% of your annualized premium is the property insurance. In your case, it's 81%. Okay. And so the other 19% of your premium, even though for sure it matters and matters a lot, but you can have a 5 or 6% rate increase and it doesn't adversely destroy the other. Thank God, we're probably going to see between a 20 and a 25% rate reduction on the property insurance. Anything that has to do with wind coverage. For example, last year, or 2 years ago, your property rate was right around $1. Okay. Last year, your property rate was just above 80 cents. And we're expecting on renewal your property rate to be below 70 cents, say 65 to 67 cents. And, if I was rubbing my crystal ball, I would say in 2027, if we don't have major hurricanes, you're probably going to see another reduction in premium. It probably won't go down 20-25%, but you probably would see something in the 10% rate reduction. And the market, as long as there's no major hurricanes, you're probably going to see the rate trickle down. Scott and I were just talking, is that, in my opinion, and I've sat in the chair of these people that do this as far as running an insurance company, they get themselves in trouble. And you'll see rates, some carriers will do ridiculous things, and you'll see rates drop too low, and then there'll be a knee-jerk reaction, and you're going to see a drastic increase, and it's very difficult to budget. It's very difficult to anticipate. And so at the end of the day, though, like I said, we're going to see the rates go down again. We do have an appraisal. Every 3 years as a condo, you're required to do the 718 statute stipulates that you're to insure to full sound insurable replacement cost. And to make sure that you're doing that, you're required to do an appraisal update every 36 months. So it's our time to do it. It's going up by about 8%. Is that correct, Meredith?
Yep, that's what the appraiser anticipated.
Okay. The good thing about that, here's one of the good things about that. Pre-COVID, we would see appraised values every 3 years go up about 5 to 6 to 7%. After COVID, with inflation, and I don't know, COVID had some effect on it. We were seeing values increase by 10-12% a year. I mean, it wasn't unusual for us to see somebody that had an appraised value that went up 30% in that 3-year period. So with an 8% increase, it's showing that things are leveling out. That's a good thing. And I mean, it's a good thing for a lot of people. Pardon? Okay. So we're going to see our property premium, even though the values, your insurable value is probably going to go from around 111 million to around 120 million. Our thinking is your property premium is going to come in around 800,000, which is about 125,000 less than last year. That's great. The boiler machinery will be about the same price. We're projecting a 5 to 7% increase on your general liability. Cyber liability will stay, the D&O, we anticipate probably a 7% increase there. Crime, it's going to be about the same. The umbrella, you're going to see probably a 10-15% increase in your umbrella price. Legal defense policy is showing a 5% or $500 increase roughly. And that's probably due to the fact that we just had an incident where I think they did a good job for us.
Yeah.
And then the flood, we're projecting about a $3,000 or $4,000 increase on the flood. So overall, your premium last year was about $1,138,500, and we're seeing it at around $1,023,000. And the competitive side of me wants to push that number, just for the sake of doing it, below $1 million. Okay. So I think you're going to see a nice reduction. I think these 26 budget numbers that we're talking about, I feel pretty confident about, or very confident about them. I think you can plug these numbers in your budget. I think you can use these numbers. And I think whenever we're trying to do a budget, I'd rather tell you too much and you come in a little bit below it, opposed to the opposite, putting you guys in a bind being real aggressive and saying, oh, we're going to come in at $950,000 and it comes in at 975,000, and we would have done a good job, but we've missed your budget a little bit. So I think Meredith, we feel good about these numbers, don't we?
We feel good about them. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
And
for sure.
a second on that one. Yeah. So yeah, and what we have done, we have actually talked to your carriers about this is not just what the market's doing. We've talked to Arrowhead specifically about your renewal, not just in general, about your renewal. Okay. We've talked to the general liability carriers, the D&O carriers about your renewal. So this is pretty much where we're seeing it. And, you know, knock on wood, as long as we don't have in the last month and a half of hurricane season, something that hits Southeast Florida, I feel like we're going to be in good shape there.
Okay, maybe just to point out, and correct me if I'm wrong, the 26 budget will really be, since our policy runs from June 1st to May 31st, will be 5/12 of the 25 premium and 7/12 of the 26 budget amount, right?
There you go. Exactly.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, well, good work. I'm glad you validated the information with the carriers. And any questions from anyone? I have one, but I'll hold on.
Tim, we're working on our budget. Do you think it's prudent to do the insurance appraisal, the property appraisal for the insurance
Yes.
sooner rather than later?
Yeah, I think we've already, honestly, I think Meredith, have we ordered the appraisal, or we're in the process?
Well,
The appraiser knows that we're getting one. Doing it too soon isn't really an issue, but then you'll just have to do it sooner and sooner each year. So, I mean, I don't see the value changing between October and January when we start marketing the renewal.
Yeah, I would like to have the sound numbers that we're going after when we go to market.
Mhm.
But the numbers we're using in the budget are reflective of the new values, right, Meredith?
Right. Yeah, that's been taken into
okay, good.
Yeah, so the 799,200 includes around an 8% increase in values.
Are we anticipating, I think it wasn't it last year, we had an appraised value of whatever it was, but the carrier said, no, we got to insure it for however $1 million more.
Well, not last year. Last year, we pretty much went with what they had because in years past, different insurance companies do it differently. Okay. But Arrowhead, for example, let's say your appraisal comes back at $100 million,
Yeah.
but their numbers show 120 million.
Yeah.
So they'll give you that $100 million value. But they're going to base their reinsurance and everything, their cost off of what their numbers are. That's how they input it. But I think we're pretty in sync with where they want to be. We're pretty in sync. That was
So Tim, what's in that scenario? What's the advantage of getting an independent appraisal? If the insurance company will say, "Well, that's nice, but I'm still going
the
to."
statute and the law requires it.
Okay, so that's a good reason.
And it protects the committee membermen. It protects the board and all that stuff. Is that, hey, why did you use let's say for some God forbid reason that we have an appraisal that says it's $120 million for this building, and then we have a catastrophic loss and it ends up being $135 million, and it gives you protection because you're basing it on what a professional has told you. You didn't pick an arbitrary number, or you didn't depend upon an insurance company. You have done what it gives you. Hey, this is our credibility, is that we have a licensed, certified commercial appraiser that did this, that does condos for a living, and this is what he said.
Okay,
Can I
good.
ask a small question? Are you a tenant or a representative of the insurance?
I'm an insurance broker. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't live here.
Your presentation, I understood that you represent the insurance.
Yes, ma'am. I am an insurance agent. Yes.
that gives me a
So
different understanding of the
yes,
discussion.
yes, the 718 statute stipulates that you're required to do an insurance appraisal every 3 years.
Okay, and Meredith, I think you sent some information on two types of studies we can get, or two types of appraisal. One is, I think was 550, the other one's $850. Can you just
Yep.
touch on what the difference is and?
The one option would be an on-site appraisal update, and the appraiser would come on-site. He would take updated photos. If there were any new structures that were built since the last appraisal was done. I'm sorry, I'm looking to see when his last on-site.
It's updated pictures and, from time to time, you're right. Go ahead,
Yeah,
Mary.
so there's a physical visit with one of the appraisals. The other one is probably just a book appraisal.
Correct. It's just a desktop update.
Desktop, yeah.
Who
Okay.
is doing the appraisal, if I may ask?
All Florida Appraisal Group. What's the status? Can I ask a couple of questions? What's the status on our renovation? What's left to be done?
Concrete is finished,
Okay,
so that's been finished for a few months now. The roof, we're still waiting for a roof consultant to finish the specs so it can go out to bid. There's a couple things he had to change on it, so we're just waiting for that revision. Then we'll put it out to bid.
when do we anticipate having a new roof installed?
Summer of next year.
Okay. With some carriers, I'll say this, Meredith, on the midform, what's the age of our roof?
It
2006?
Should be 17 or 18 years old.
It's 2007.
2007.
Mhm.
Okay. I can tell you that from some insurance companies' perspective is that a flat membrane roof has a life expectancy of 15 years. Okay. And especially down in South Florida. So it could reflect on some companies' modeling, is that it would be, they might ding it a little bit because the roof is outside the 15 years. I mean, it does help if you have a maintenance program. The other thing is once you do have a new roof, a 2026 roof will model better than a 2007. The insurance company won't have to buy the reinsurance costs, won't be as much. So it does give them a little more margin, So that's good information, knowing that heading into next year's hurricane season, next May, we probably won't have the roof done. Okay. It's not going to affect.
So if a contract's been awarded, the insurance company won't factor that in at all?
No.
No?
Typically speaking, I'll quote you what an underwriter has told me, is that an underwriter told me that a senior underwriter said, I've even seen checks that didn't get cashed. He said, until that underwriter said, until I see boots on the roof, that they're actually doing work, I'm not going to give you this company was willing to give credit for a new roof even before it was done, but they wanted to see actual evidence that the roof was being installed. Arrowhead is one of those companies, if we start on the roof prior to it, they'll model it as it is a new roof, even though I would say that once they start the roof, it's probably a 60-day process considering good weather before the roof is done, because we're subject to what, they can't work when it's not great weather. Okay.
Yeah. So Scott, you said the roof would be mid-2026, but was that the start or the end date?
Probably the start, because the goal was
Okay.
to have the cooling towers
Right,
and
okay.
all the piping involved with that finished, and then jump on the roof right away. I mean, we're still gonna, bid the roof out,
Well,
hopefully.
or maybe you can put on a pair of boots and we'll take pictures of you on the roof.
Yeah, exactly. We still want to bid it out, hopefully by the end of this month, but let the vendors know, hey, this project isn't going to start
Right.
for 6 months. So bid accordingly.
See,
Well, aren't we getting the evaluation of the roof first and then we're gonna start bidding it? We said we were gonna do the cooling tower evaluation, the roof. We want to do the cooling towers before the roof. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know Florida construction, but in my experience, it usually takes almost a year.
Or what?
To do the cooling towers, then start the roof, finish the roof. And I'm sure we only have a certain amount of period to do the roof because we can't do it when the hurricanes start. So it probably has to be done from spring to the end of the summer.
We can do the roof in the middle of summer. There's a membrane they would put down before the actual roof system that would give us the waterproof
Protection.
Yeah.
Okay.
if I can add my 2 cents, which doesn't matter on this thing, but according to a fantastic roof consultant that I know, you guys are going about it the right way. Is you've got all this work has been done on your building, and if you put the roof on first, you might destroy the roof.
Right.
So if you're doing work on your cooling tower, all that traffic on the roof, all that material that's being stored, you're hurting the life of your roof.
Right.
You're going about it. You guys are smart. What somebody told me, that's the right way to do it. Roof comes on last. You did elevator work, you did all this other work, restoration work. You're going about it the right way.
Okay, well, thanks. Anything else from the committee?
I got one other quick question on the property. Buildings of this size, is it typically what you're seeing is those policies they're layered policies?
Yes, typically speaking, you're going to find very, very few carriers that can do what we call ground up for 120 million. Okay. You typically, even in the softest of markets, you might see a carrier do 15 or 20 million on the bottom layer. Then you're going to have what we would call a bottom layer. And then you have a top layer. Yeah. When the market goes crazy again, when the rates get crazy, you're going to see some people that'll go out there and they'll do the whole $120 million. And that's when they get killed, you know?
Yeah, but aren't we better protected when we have a layered insurance policy than a straight policy with one company?
Yes, ma'am. I was just looking at the financials of an insurance company this morning at 7:00.
Good.
And
yeah.
Their reinsurance, they had 47 reinsurers.
Yes.
On their cover, you know?
Good.
So you're better off doing that. Yes.
Right.
One adjuster if you have a claim. Doesn't matter. There might be 3 different program managers on it. They all agree to the primary layers adjuster. They adjust the claim and they go from there.
Scott, I think we are talking only about the roof of the 29th floor, because from my window, I could see that the roof of the lower was done. No?
No, there may have been repairs, but when we get our roof done, it's gonna be all 3 roofs will be done.
But there was a lot of work over there, a lot of garbage, and everything is empty and clean. So the roof was not done there.
No.
All right. Anything else before we conclude?
I have just one question, Mike. So if we get the roof done, let's say, 2 or 3 or 4 months within the policy period, can we do an endorsement for the new roof, or we have to wait for the break until the next renewal?
Unfortunately, most all insurance companies, they close the door at the effective date.
Okay, so we gotta wait.
So only Citizens will actually let you do a midterm endorsement. And Sandra, for sure, no one is going to allow an endorsement during hurricane season. Okay.
Right.
Okay. But to answer your question is no. 531, this is the rate. This is how it underwrites. Because the reason they do that is they go out and they buy reinsurance based
Mhm.
upon the exposure at 531. Okay. So they get no credit if
Right.
they lower the rate because the reinsurer charges them. Because the reinsurer says we're going to commit X amount of dollars. That's called capacity. So the reinsurer commits X amount of dollars to the insurance company, so they can't sell it to someone else.
Okay.
That's a great question, though.
Hoping.
It was worth a try, Sandra.
That's it. Hey, listen, a year is a long time.
All right. Well, Tim, Meredith, Olivia, thank you so much for sharing your insights with us and for all the work you do for us as well. So,
Well, thank you for letting us come in.
Thank you
And
so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
and Mike, as we get deeper in, we're going to give you more updates. Okay.
yeah, we'd like that. We'd like the dialogue with yourself and your team to be ongoing.
Yeah. The next
So,
major
we don't
update.
concentrate just maybe we'll invite you back at the beginning of the year just to see how things are progressing and
Well,
give us.
that's it right there. Is once we get through, most insurance companies buy their reinsurance on January 1st. Okay. So once those reinsurance trees have been placed, there could be some flexibility or fluctuation in the market at that point. Okay.
Yeah, and we'll give you an update on the progress of our activities and projects, and
Yep.
and
That
then
would be great.
you'll have more ammunition to go to market with at that
So
time.
we'll just make a plan before the end of January to give you an update
Okay.
on what the reinsurance market, what happened in January, what the
Okay.
reinsurers did. Okay.
Sounds great. Thanks
you.
for
Thank
coming.
you all. Appreciate you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Good seeing you.
Yep, thanks,
Give me
Tim. I will, yeah.
So just before we move to the second agenda item, do we have to decide on the way forward on the appraisal? Do we go with the 550 version or the 850 more detailed version, or is that something we should reconsider maybe at our next meeting? How do you guys see that?
I would say we should get them on site and do updated pictures just because of our concrete restoration
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
I would second that. I mean, for $300, it seems like it's worth it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Agree.
And Husky, did you want to do something sooner or later, or?
No, I think we'll just do it early next year.
Okay,
Because
I-
you don't want the appraisal to be dated.
right, yeah.
Agree with that.
Okay, good. So Scott, if you can reach out to Meredith and say we are going to be doing it, which version, and
Yeah.
then the timing will be early next year.
okay.
Okay, good. Okay, the second part of the agenda is to go through the financials. And just bear with me for a second. I'll share my screen.
Mhm.
Can you guys see the first page?
Mm-mm. Nope.
Nope. Okay. I must have done the sharing wrong. Share. Okay. Then I didn't press the share button.
It's coming.
It's coming. It's coming from Canada, so it'll take a while. Our postal service is on strike anyway. So can you now see the first page?
Yes.
Okay. So we have the treasurer's report. This is for the month of August year to date. And there's three parts to it. There's the operating income and expenses, the balance sheet, and the reserve accounts. So from a revenue point of view, you can see that if you look at August year to date actual, we're at 4.7 million. The budget year to date was 4.64568. And so the delta is 200,000, and all of that is explained by the interest income, which is right on 202,000 more than we had anticipated. On the expense side, total expenses are at 3.241. 3.208 was the budget, is the budget. So a variance, unfavorable variance of 33,000. And when you scratch beneath the surface, really that works out to a few things. One is seems to be a double accrual on cable, so that'll be offset in the coming months, 31,000. But also our legal fees, professional fees, and taxes on the interest income those budgets have either been exceeded or weren't planned for. So that's the state of affairs on the income statement. Before I get to the balance sheets, any questions or comments? And Sandra, thanks for reconciling a lot of these things. And I think there's one remaining action for services to actually book a few of these entries. So these financial statements here are kind of pro forma in the sense that they've already factored in those adjustments.
Well, yeah, I guess the cable, I don't know, Scott, if you had a conversation with accounting on that. They accrued it again, and I don't think they need to.
So I've finally got Anthony involved.
Okay.
Kind of gave him an explanation of some of the continuing issues
Mhm.
we've been seeing with the financial statements. He was going to personally talk to the team that does our accounting, and I think he was going to try to set up a meeting also. So once I get that information, I can share with the committee if anybody wants to, sit
Okay.
in the meeting. And Sandra, hopefully you'd be available.
Okay. Yeah, no, I mean, the sooner the better. I guess it's mostly on the reserves that we still have some adjusting entries we need to make.
Mhm.
So, okay, all right.
Okay, so we'll leave that in your good hands, Sandra, and Scott's good hands as well.
Okay.
Can I make a suggestion on the reserves? Instead of booking and reversing every month, what I used to do in my old days is I could set up a reserve at the beginning of the year, and then I would have them true it up every quarter or at the end of the year. That way, we didn't have in and out with the possibility of constantly making mistakes.
Mm.
I don't know, Katina, that sounds reasonable to me. What do you think, Sandra? Is it
Well,
Sandra and Scott? Maybe you guys can take that up and suggest it to First Services Accounting.
Well, I mean, I think that they have their way of handling the reserves.
Okay.
I mean, every month they just, increase the reserve by what we're collecting from the owners and whatever claims or, expenses we make or whatever we pay for goes against the reserve so that we know where we stand at any point in time. We have the accurate balance each month end. So the problem is really making adjustment for prior years. The current year, they're pretty much handling it correctly. We just need to make some one-time adjustments to bring the balances in line with where they were at December 31, 2024. So that's kind of what the issue is. And then going forward, I think we'll be good. We just still got some entries that need to be made.
But they shouldn't be making prior year entries. Whatever they make into the reserves has to go through the current P&L, unless they made it for accounting purposes with the auditors and they didn't book it in their books.
Correct. That's what happened because we
okay.
switched from the method of accounting from the specific component method into the pooled reserve method. So we're still trying to work out the entries to reflect that in the financials.
Essentially, Katina, the auditor or the accountant, when they did the audit, made some adjusting entries. Those have yet to be reflected on FSR.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Correct. So it's a one-time kind of thing we got to work through, and I think that will be fine going forward once those adjustments have been made.
Okay, so if we flip to page 2, which is the balance sheet, the assets total 12.1 million. Of that, 11 million is cash in the 3 areas of operations that are day-to-day operations of the building, special assessment account, and both the SERS and non-SERS reserves. You can see the amounts there, 1.2, 3.3, and 6.6. And the rest is prepaid insurance. The flip side, the liabilities and the members' equity, The bulk of that are our reserve projects, our reserves. And we have 3.4 in special assessment remaining. SERS is 4.9 and non-SERS 1.6. The other single biggest item are deferred revenues, which really is September's maintenance fees and some other prepaid maintenance. Okay. And then the third page.
Can I ask one question?
Yep, go ahead.
Of our 11 million cash, how much do we have? I don't want to say invested, but how much of that earns interest?
Esky, Scott, you guys know that off the top of your head? I think most of it, but
Okay.
Well, everything's in
Money market.
money market accounts, except
Okay.
for what's in the Morgan Stanley. The Morgan Stanley investments are basically all in treasuries.
Okay, so everything pretty much earns interest other
I
than
think, I think we have, I believe, three accounts that are operating accounts. And I think two of those are money market. And then the account that,
Checking.
yeah, and then the account where the maintenance fees are deposited into, I don't believe that's an interest-bearing account. I think it's more of just a transaction account.
how much do we keep in there?
I think there's, Heskey, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think there's close to $600,000 in the two money
Correct.
market operating accounts.
Yeah, that would be the City National, I think, operating account, right?
Yeah, but as long as we have everything in money market, that's fine. The key is not to have any cash that does not earn interest. I mean, we can manage the cash on a weekly basis or monthly basis, but we
Yeah,
should.
they're just an operating account with like 600,000.
Yeah, the thing with that, if we tried making that account a money market account, they limit our transactions every month on those money market accounts. So we wouldn't, we'd be getting penalized every month for going over the transaction limits.
is that fine, Katina?
Yeah.
I think she's muted.
Okay. Okay, the third page are the special assessment and reserve funds, and there's three pools of money there: special assessment, SERS, and non-SERS. So if you look at special assessment, the first column is the balance that we had at the end of last year in terms of what we collected and what we spent. Then the current year activity, and that gives us a cumulative total to August year to date. So if you look at special assessment, we were at 4.8 million at the end of last year. This year we spend 1.4 or net 1.4. I'm not sure that's 100% right, but so the balance is 3.3 million. So if you look at it, again, Scott and Heskey, correct me if I'm wrong, but the concrete restoration is pretty much all done and paid for. The elevator modernization, I'm not sure if there's more money to be expensed or not, and the roof is not done. So if you look at it at this point, assuming that the elevator modernization is near complete in terms of what we spent, then we'd have 3.3 million left for the roof, is the way I look at it. Or am I missing something?
Well, we owe $1 million to ThyssenKrupp for the elevators.
Oh, okay, so we owe them $1 million. Okay, so
Yeah, and we had $300,000 left over from the contingency,
right.
350. I mean,
okay, so
paying
that's
for
what
some
it is.
engineering now, but yeah, that's why there's. And then we
Okay.
had 2 million earmarked for roofing, which
Right.
now with the redesign, it's probably going to come in slightly under. So we'll have some monies left over, hopefully.
Okay, good. And then on the SERS reserve fund, we're at almost $5 million as we speak, and the non-SERS 1.6. So, and then heading into the budget discussions, then we'll have more discussion around that. But yeah, we'll have to get a handle on which projects we're going to execute next year. But Saskia, you already have a good handle on that. It's more my question is more around the timing and how much of that money is going to actually be spent next year, and that'll dictate what our contributions will be and will not be for 2026. Any final questions or comments on this? So, I mean, my opinion is that we're in pretty good shape here. So,
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna be tight in our non-series because of the cooling tower.
right.
But we don't have any firm estimates, and once the estimates come in, we can assess that. And then, if we're short, we're gonna have to at some point do a special assessment to replenish that non-series.
Yeah.
Even if it's just
So,
like $1 million.
yeah, well, we'll have to look at that. Is there any flexibility? And I don't need an answer now, but food for thought in terms of allocating or moving funds from SERS to non-SERS if we find we have more in one than the other? Or is that
No, we wouldn't want to do that.
no?
It's all accounted for, but we just, if the number comes in for the roof in a cooling tower at 1.7, I mean, we can squeak by with even 2 million
All
so
right.
far. And as long as we go with the recommended contribution levels,
Yeah.
because by the time in reality that the projects get started and we have to start paying out to our vendors, we have time because the monies keep coming in, the contributions are
Right.
coming in.
I have a
So-
question.
Go ahead, Pam.
My understanding is, and correct me if I'm wrong, the special assessment is not part of the cooling towers.
Correct.
Correct.
That's coming from the non-seers?
Yes,
What do we do if there's leftover money from the special assessment?
we can vote to put it into non-seers. That would take an owner vote.
Okay, but we can use it for other
Yeah, of
aspects.
course. I mean, it's
Yeah.
not gonna just
Two
sit there.
things. You can, like Heskey said, transfer it into a reserve account or put it towards another special assessment.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's why
Okay.
Pam, I think Heskey was saying that once we get the roofing estimate in and what have you, then we'll have a better idea on what's actually going to be left
Roofing and
over
the
in that
cooling
account.
tower estimates, yeah.
Yeah, and the cooling
Great.
tower estimates, yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, well, that kind of wraps up the first two items on the agenda, and there was nothing else. So at this point, any concluding comments? And we can take any members who have or owners who are at the meeting and have a question or two, we can take that and then wrap up the meeting.
Yeah, as far as the budget, I think Scott and I are on the same page right now.
Good.
He can send it out to you guys to review. The only open issue is the level of reserve funding. And whether we want to, if we go with, going with the recommended funding amount for the non-series because, we're running on, vapors for that, and then going with the minimum amount for the series because those projects are being, drawn out. So we have time to keep building our war chest. So with that kind of budget, we're looking at a sub 3% increase in total contributions.
Okay, well, I think we're not far. There's a lot of work that's been done already, and we've already provided some email exchanges. So at our upcoming meeting, then we'll able to have a good discussion around many of those topics, Heskey, and get an agreement on them, and then really complete the budget for 2026.
Okay.
Good stuff, guys.
Okay.
Okay, well, with that, Scott, I close the meeting, and unless just maybe one final time, any questions from the owners or the members of the Playa del Sol? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thanks,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Was there a question?